Welcome to today's video on feminism in the novel The Color Purple. I am Dr. R. Saritha, Assistant Professor of English from Sri Sharda College for Women, Autonomous, Salem. This novel is prescribed for 3rd BA English students as part of their co-paper Women Novelist. Let's move into the presentation now. Let's begin today's presentation with the term feminism. Feminism is a social movement focused on addressing issues that impact women. Women have recognized that they share common experiences of oppression, such as patriarchy and economic inequality, as well as discrimination in areas like commercial and legal spheres. Overall, the movement aims to promote women's interests and advocate for actions to improve their rights and status. Next, we are going to see about different types of feminism. The first one is liberal feminism. It focuses on achieving gender equality through legal and political reforms, advocating for equal rights and opportunities for women. Next is radical feminism. It seeks to address and dismantle the fundamental societal structures that perpetuate patriarchy, aiming for a complete transformation of a society to eliminate male domination. Next, we are going to see about socialist feminism. This emphasizes the connection between capitalism and the oppression for women, advocating for social and economic changes that would address both gender inequality and class struggles. Next is Marxist feminism. This focuses on the ways in which capitalism exploits women, arguing that women's liberation can only be achieved through the overthrow of capitalist systems and the establishment of socialism. Next is cultural feminism. It highlights the value of women's culture, experiences, and perspectives, advocating for celebration of and preservation of women's unique contributions to society. Next, we are going to see about Black feminism. Usually, feminism focused on the concerns of white women only, often overlooking the voices and experiences of women of color. As a result, there was a growing need for a more inclusive approach that addressed issues of race, gender, class, and sexuality. This led to the emergence of Black feminism, which centers the unique struggles faced by Black women and advocates for their rights and representations across all these intersecting factors. Next, we are going to see about womanism. Alice Walker introduced the concept of womanism in her 1982 work In Search of Our Mother's Gardens, published in 1982. Womanism highlights the struggles of Black women for equality and challenges the perspectives of white feminism. It emphasizes the significance of multiple forms of discrimination that Black women face, including racism and sexism. Womanism also values emotional resilience, strength, and the rich cultural heritage of Black women, recognizing these as vital components of their identity and empowerment. Now, let's move on to the author of the novel, Alice Walker. Alice Walker was born on February 9, 1944, in Georgia, USA, as the eighth child in her family. She began using typewriter to write early in her life. Walker's work often draws from African American culture expressed through her novels and short stories. One of her most famous work is the novel The Color Purple that recognized and that earned her Pulitzer Prize for fiction. It cemented her place as a significant literary figure. Now, let's move on to the plot of the novel, The Color Purple. The Color Purple deals with the protagonist, Celie, and her journey. The novel begins as her 14-year-old girl to an adult lady. She is the subject of this epistolary novel. Initially, Celie writes letters to God. The novel takes place in rural Georgia. In the beginning of the novel, Celie's mother dies due to childbirth complications. Celie becomes pregnant by her stepfather, Alfonso. He marries a new wife. Celie's two children are snatched away from her. Thus, Celie is completely oppressed by her stepfather. As the novel progresses, we see new characters coming into the novel. Celie is forced into marriage with a man referred to as Mr., who initially desires to marry her sister, Niti. Mr.'s name is also referred as Albert. However, Mr. ends up marrying Celie after her father Alfonso forbids Niti's marriage to him. Mr. also has a lover, Shug Avery, who becomes an influential figure in Celie's life. Celie faces significant struggles in her new marriage, especially dealing with her husband's demanding family and children. Harpo, Mr.'s son, falls in love with and marries Sophie, a strong and independent woman. Shug Avery, a bold and free spirited woman, visits the area and sings at a local bar, later forming a deep bond with Celie. Shug's presence helps Celie discover her own strength and sense of self worth. Niti, Celie's sister, moves away from her family, telling Celie that she will write letters to her. However, the letters written by Niti are hidden by Albert during past years. Moving on to the novel, Chuck Avery falls ill and takes refuge in Celie's home, which deepens their relationship. Over the time, Celie and Chuck develop a close, complex bond that evolves from friendship into a more intimate connection. This relationship also brings about power struggle within the household, especially with Sofia, who eventually moves out due to the tensions. Sofia, Harpo's wife, becomes the mayor's maid for 12 years, enduring both physical and emotional hardships. Meanwhile, Celie discovers that Niti's letter, which has been sent to her for the years, were hidden by Mr. These letters, filled with Niti's own experiences and reflections, become a vital part of Celie's personal journey as she uncovers the truth and reconnects with her sister. Let's see the life of Niti. Niti has been far away from her family. Niti befriends a missionary couple, Samuel and Corin, who takes her in while she is living in Africa. Together, they travel to Africa, where Niti helps them with their missionary work. During her time there, Niti becomes close to two children, Olivia and Adam, whom she later discovers are actually Celie's biological children, whom Celie had been separated from. Alfonso, Celie's father, had been their stepfather, further adding to the painful history of their family. Next, through Niti's letter, Celie learns about her children's lives and gains a sense of connection and hope, even as she continues to endure her own struggles. In the novel, as Niti continues her journey in Africa, Corin, the missionary woman, dies of illness and before passing knows that the Niti is the aunt of their children, Olivia and Adam. During this time, Celie also comes to know about the painful realization and confirms Alfonso's true identity as a stepfather. Sophia is eventually released from her grueling job as the mayor's maid, gaining her freedom. Meanwhile, Celie begins her process of self discovery and empowerment. She moves away from her abusive husband, Mr., and starts a new life with Shug in Tennessee. The two women open a big business together, marking Celie's newfound independence. Later, Celie visits Georgia, where she witnesses a reformed Mr. who has changed his behavior and relationship towards her. Finally, Alfonso, Celie's abusive stepfather, dies, bringing closure to the painful chapter of her past. Through these events, Celie finds healing, reclaiming her strength and her sense of self. The novel shows the reunion of her sister Celie with Niti and her long lost children, which marks a deep emotional and transformative moment. After decades of separation, Celie finally inherits the house that was once owned by her abusive father. This house symbolizes both her physical and emotional freedom, marking a new chapter in her life. Celie's relationship with Mr., that is Albert, also evolves during this time. Initially, he was harsh and oppressive towards her. But over the years, he becomes genuinely remorseful for his past action. This shift in their relationship highlights Celie's personal growth as she gains independence and confidence. The reunion with Niti, who has lived in Africa with her husband Samuel and has been writing letters to Celie all along, is one of the heartwarming moments in the book. Celie's realization that her sister is still alive and has had a fulfilling life despite their long separation is incredibly moving. Finally, Celie's meeting with her long lost children, whom she thought were lost forever, serves as a cathartic and joyous conclusion to her journey. The novel ends on a hopeful note, showing that Celine has not only found the strength and independence, but has also reclaimed the love and connection that she had been deprived for so long. The reunion encapsulates the themes of resilience, healing, and power of love in the novel. So, as we see, there is feminism in the novel Color Purple. Alice Walker uses the narrative of Celie's life and the experiences of other female characters to explore the themes of empowerment, identity, and struggle against male domination. The novel is dedicated to Black women's rights. Celie changes her attitude and believes the worthy of her existence. Sisterhood is important in developing the empowerment in the novel. Male domination in the novel is overcome by different female characters through confidence. The novel Color Purple has won a lot of laurels and awards. It is one of the best known works of Alice Walker. The novel has been adapted into film by Steven Spielberg in the same name. A musical was also performed based on the novel. It is one of the representative works of African American writings. Now, let's see some of the questions, MCQ questions based on the novel. So, initially, first question is, who is the narrator of the novel Color Purple? Obviously, the answer is Celie. Where does Celie live at the beginning of the novel? She lives down the south. Next question is, what is the primary form of writing used in the novel? The answer is letters. Who is Celie's first husband? The answer is Mr. What is the relationship between Celie and Niti? They are both sisters. So these are some of the references which has been used for today's presentation. Thank you all.